So it kind of tells the world what we do. We meditate with divine light to change your aura and all the other things we talk about, like growing into heaven. Well, you need fuel to do that, and the fuel is in your auric field.
Yeah, such a fabulous read. I mean, I'm highly recommending it to all my listeners. If you starting on this metaphysical journey and you want to know about spirituality, it's a really nice book to have in your library. To be honest with you, it threw me off from a lot of the teachings that I'm so used to understanding. They are a little bit different. And I was reading that and going, wow, that's such a different perspective on that than traditional way we look at the aura through either the Vedic traditions, the Tibetan traditions on chakra systems, energy systems. It was very, very fascinating. So how did you guys come
Right.
up with such I guess, different perspective on the auric field?
Well, first of all, I have to make a statement here. The work is based on Barbara's clairvoyant experience, and she has passed on. Ironically, she passed on 2 days before this book came out.
Mm.
So, yeah, pretty unusual timing of there. But we moved ahead with everything because that's exactly the way she would want it. And she was seeing auras from age 3, right? But then took years before she was trained. It's one thing to see things, it's another thing to be trained in how to see them. For example, she would say, and she trained 9 months just on powers of concentration, because if you and I were physically in the room and say you were trying to look at my aura, well, there's a lot of other energies in between, so you have to know how to zoom in exactly to what it is you want to see. So the ability to see the aura varies greatly on the scale, and then the training of it, which is why many of the books at the time when the aura came out was a very simplistic picture of the aura, and didn't really get its complexity. But the other element, and we actually, because when the book first came out, a lot of people are asking exactly what you asked, right? Why do you depict, let's say, the chakras differently than in the Vedic? But let me share something just a bit about that.
Please do.
Until about 100, maybe 60 years ago, even those in India didn't know about the chakras unless you were in a mystery school or unless you're in one of the ashrams. And there was Arthur Avalon was one of the very first Westerners to go into India to try to gather that. And it took him 50 years before he found a guru that would even share any of that with him. So we have
Wow.
to step back to realize this is today we have chocolate cafe. We've really kind of commercialized it, right?
Yeah, that's for sure. 100% on that.
But we have to realize this is an extremely sacred study that was kept well secret for a very long time. Now, we tried to answer that question actually in the second book on the healing power of your aura, because the answer is, without getting complex now, there's more than one chakra system. So it's not that the Vedic system, we would say is inaccurate, but it's describing a different chakra system than the one we're describing in Change Your Aura. And the reason we emphasize the one in Change Your Aura is those are like the master chakras. The
Okay.
other ones kind of take their lead from the ones that we teach in the book. And the reason we've kind of hooked on a little bit to the Vedic is that chakra system did have a very important connection, and does, to the process of enlightenment. But it was generally taught to the chela when they were in the ashram. The guru was carefully watching over them, because when you're awakening those powers, you're playing with fire, literally. I mean, I remember when I first worked with Barbara, which is 40 years ago, and I would help her with her consultations. Kundalini yoga was getting popular in the West. And Barbara would always say, don't mess with that. Let it unfold in its time. It's a very powerful energy. And we were counseling people that were on the verge of insanity because they had messed with that energy and they didn't know how to control it. So I
Yeah.
learned back then respect. Don't rush enlightenment. Let things unfold in their time, and then everything will move ahead. But if the aura is the first place you make changes in your life, which it is, the chakras are the first place you're going to make changes in your aura. So yes, we do spend a lot of time meditating with those chakras.
Yeah. So let's break it down because I know my listeners will be really curious about the book. Well, obviously, go out and buy the book, of course. Hey, why not? But secondly, let's talk about the anatomy of the aura,
Yeah.
because again, from my own personal experiences too, as well. I know a lot of people will be listening, going, "Okay, that's way different than what I'm used to understanding." But I think it's an interesting perspective that you need to understand this. So maybe we could just start with the basics. Let's talk about the foundation or the anatomy of the aura and just kind of work our way so that people
Right,
have an
right.
idea of what we're really talking about.
So, look, many people have seen, oh, I saw a blue light around you or around your head area, or, I see this purple energy coming around. So many people have had experiences of seeing light or spiritual colors around people. And that's a very inspirational thing. And sometimes it's a little more than that. Usually, when people are really starting to get into the aura, the first thing they kind of see is white, right? Kind of, oh, I don't really see the aura, but I sort of see this white energy around them. So that's sort of the beginning stages of opening up the inner eye. But the auric, that's like saying, you know what, I can see your right eyeball. That's not the whole picture. All right.
Exactly.
And there's a lot to see because there's a lot to you. That the point is the aura is the reflection of you. It's
Yeah.
the reflection of every facet of your consciousness, everything you're thinking, feeling, doing, all of it is in the aura. So of course it has to be complex. There
Yeah.
has to be a lot to it.
Yeah,
Now,
also the memories too as well, like all the different memories and things
oh,
and
we have a
traumas
sub
and
mind. We have a sub everything, it's recorded everything from the time of our birth. And
yeah.
actually it brings back memory from past lives too, but that's a different conversation.
No, we can actually have it in this conversation. Don't worry. I mean, this is what I love about having you on because we can have these intricate conversations
Yeah,
and in these in-depth things because, a lot of my, the listeners are craving this type of information. They don't know where to find it.
right.
So if we can mash it into an hour podcast and get it out, at least get them excited about it to research some more about it. I
Yes, yes,
highly
yes.
recommend that. But yeah, let's continue on with the idea about the aura and maybe do we start with the energy systems first? Do we want to
Well,
kind of
let's
go
just
through
start
that
with what
first?
what the very first thing you said, which again, you hit the nail on the head. That's a bold statement. Change your aura, change your life. So let's just try to understand what we actually even mean by that statement.
Okay, let's do that.
Because the aura is not static. The aura is in a state of change. Thank God we're not stuck with the aura we have. So the point is, one of the great spiritual principles is it takes spiritual energy to generate anything in your life. Anything.
Okay.
Take, we know it takes physical energy. I can't talk to you right now if I didn't have the physical energy to do it. But behind that physical energy, there's a spiritual power. So to generate anything we want in our life, we need power to do that, spiritual. And the place you generate that power is in your auric field. So if there is an established energy of anything that may manifest in outer life, if it's in your auric field, by divine law, unless something interrupts that energy, it will manifest in your life. So if you look at your life right now and you say the things you have accomplished, that was not accidental. You made that happen. So you've got to acknowledge that. Yeah, I really built that house. I really built that career. I really worked on this relationship. It doesn't have to be the thing spiritual meditation. It's anything in life. And if you're saying, well, no, I don't have the career I want yet. Oh, I'm not happy with my finances. Don't commiserate in that. Just realize there's more you have to do. There's something you haven't built within you.